Put a smile on your face. Good morning, world. Good morning to the Barbie Morning Show with our friend Nigel Smart. How's everyone doing today? We've got Babette. She's saying hi. Hi. Okay, guys. So how was your weekend, Mr. Nigel? Did it snow badly there?
Um, yeah, we've got about 4 to 5 inches on the ground, and right now it's freezing rain on top of it. So that's going to make moving it a little difficult today. So the main roads are clear, but not a great time to go out driving. So I'm gonna see what it's like. I have to run over to my office because I need to see that that's okay. So I will probably run over there in the next hour or so after we're done. So we'll see. But I'm good.
I love that weather. I wish we had I'm spoiled here in San Diego, but it's nice to have that kind of weather. It's just cozy. Here in California, we run over to the mountains, skiing time when it's ideal now when we get this rain and the season. But it's not all bad. It's good. It's good. So, good morning to those who are tuning in. If you will let us know what beautiful state you are or what country you're tuning in from. Oh, I like that cup. That's a great looking cup. Our mastermind cup. Cheers to you, my friend. Cheers to you. Yes. So I have had a really hectic weekend, but was able to get much accomplished. And today, I want to say, it's the start of a new week. We start off fresh with a new attitude to tackle the world and our responsibilities as best as we can, given our restraints with this pandemic. But I thought it would be, this is day 10, and we're mastering our mindset. And creating reciprocity is one of the things that we wanted to talk about today. And success, yes. Good morning. Good morning. Sending you guys love too. One of the, the most successful people I find have a way of increasing their happiness by having reciprocity. To me, reciprocity means is you don't expect anything in return, you just give. And as it relates to us, Nigel, that we work closely with relationships as coaches, could be in a divorce setting, it could be just empowering souls. We also deal with business people that struggle and have a difficulty managing everything. And as we like to say, the ball's up in the air. What can I get? Oftentimes people say, what can I get out of this? If I give so much, what can I get back in return? Mm-hmm. And it's my opinion that the fastest way to have happiness and let things just pour down on you, the blessings as I like to call them, is to give. The more we give, the more we receive, and the happier we become. So I, instead of saying what I can get out of this relationship, as we often can ask ourselves, obsess on what you can give. And, over-deliver without thinking someone's going to run all over you, And sometimes we can do this out of fear. I know relationships, we have a lot of people here that tune in regarding relationships. And sometimes we wonder, particular ladies out there who are married and they're contemplating, do I really want to juggle this life? Where I have to be not only a parent, some of them have to work. They come home, they prepare their meals, they've got kids with homework, just juggling it all. While, and here, this is wonderful because we have different perspectives. I'm the female version of your version. And I'm curious what you feel, as a man yourself, how you're able to juggle these things, you know, and still be able to give and not be so focused just strictly on business and what you can gain out of business. So share a little something with us, Nigel, some of your great wisdom that you always offer.
Well, as we've talked about in the days before today, I think we've become very transactional in the way we live. It's, you know, I'll do this if you give me that. Business people will recognize this because, you know, business is about producing and getting something in return, money for a service or a product. And unfortunately, I think we've let that creep into our private lives. And so, as you have pointed out correctly, you can look around at some extremely successful people in business, but they're not fulfilled. They're not happy. They have everything that most people are striving for, yet they remain unfulfilled.
Yeah.
There is something wonderful that happens when, along the way, you start to have, you know, some level of success. And it's if you reach out a hand to others and pull them up with you, so we all rise together. There's a great feeling of gratitude that others feel towards you, and although that's great in itself, I think that you have a wider sense that you've done something worthwhile, as well as taking care of yourself, which today there's very much a survival, me, I've got to look care of me first, which, you know, I understand. We all have to do that. But I also think there's still room for us to give a helping hand, a leg up, if you will, to people around us. Obviously, we're used to doing that with our families. Those families can be very difficult, and you and I have both experienced that, especially when you go through separations and divorce. I think that if we're to be honest, we're constantly juggling those. I know I am. I think, though, what's really important is you know, if you're searching for the reason, why would I do that? It actually, you don't have to look very far. How do you feel? What emotions do you have when you see somebody who was struggling, not struggling anymore? It's very humanizing. And I think, you know, I mentioned in the week, I think one of the things that we've lost a piece of under COVID, maybe because of our fear, not necessarily because of our selfishness, but we've lost a little bit of humanity in ourselves as a species. And so I think if we you know, combat our fear, face our fear, and say, I don't just have to think about myself. I can think about myself, and there's still room for others. I think, as you correctly point out, what you get back is far more actually than you're giving out. And that's what I try to do. I'm probably like most people. You know, I fail every day, but I try, and I'm comfortable in my skin that I am trying, and I'm trying to do things for the right reasons. And I feel good when somebody accomplishes something, when you've planted a seed and then they have picked up that opportunity and then they've built on themselves. It's a great experience when somebody says thank you to you. I couldn't have done this. I always turn around and say, that's not true. You just needed somebody to show you the way, and maybe I could unlock a little bit of that secret for you. And I was happy to do that. I think if we all do that, we all rise together.
Absolutely.
And surely that's what we want in a society that we want to live in.
Absolutely. And just to take it a level deeper, you know, we are raised with all these labels that people have given us throughout our times. And we want to embody those that are really complementary to us. But as we mature, we also start to remove some of those that really don't serve us. And
Yes.
I'd like to challenge people here who are watching us, or those who our viewers may tag, who may tag some of their friends or acquaintance to listen in because they may get something out of this. But 3 words that describe who you are, and look at them, label them, put them in your refrigerator, and really, how do you want to be viewed by others? In retrospect, do you want to be a servant leader to someone? Do you want to be viewed as someone that can be dependable? These are different ways that we can serve others, and we can receive that empowerment on our own. This is just kind of a little different perspective, but something to think about, about the labels of how we want to be viewed by others. And how do we show up for ourselves? How do we show up for
That's important.
Absolutely.
I think that's really important. I think when you show up for yourself, you can show up for others. I think under the pressures of what we've been experiencing this year, I think it scared people to be themselves and to show up. I think fear is driving a lot of our most undesirable characteristics. And we've seen that all this year, all this past 12 months. And it's fear. And I think we need to step up as a peoples and face those and stop throwing around accusations as we see has been happening. We're better than this as a people.
Great point. Yeah.
But it starts, my mother used to say, it starts at home, and put your own house in order. And when we try to do that, and we're not perfect, you and I are not perfect. We're not promoting ourselves as perfect, but we have a lot of answers. We've got a lot of experience, and we've shared that with people who have, if you like, been helped or healed in some way. And I'm grateful for the fact that, like you are, that I've had the opportunity to do that for people, because maybe it wasn't done for me, but it doesn't mean that I can't do that for somebody else. And I want to do more of that as circumstances allow.
Right.
And I think the more of us that feel this way, if we can group together with our intention and empower people, I think that we will create a movement that will change attitudes towards a lot of things, that will make us a more healthy, tolerant, and complete society globally. Absolutely. As well as nationally. I think that's what we want.
And to take it even a little deeper, I stop and think, how do we want to show up for our children? What kind of leadership roles do we want to encompass or illustrate to them, so then they can be good citizens and model after us through our action, through what they see of our actions? That is so important too, because that's the next generation who can grow up to be leaders, influencers. And I find that just, it's a snowball effect. When you're in service, when you do something, it just sparks something within us that is so beautiful and so powerful. Yeah, and that's why I wanted to talk about reciprocity. Reciprocity. Yes. So
it's difficult, Barbie. I was going to say it's difficult. I have a very big family, and I have a big family on 2 continents. It's very, very difficult. It's been very difficult this year. Distance and lack of proximity creates a lot of misunderstandings. And as our children move through various ages, through the early years, I think the fun years are like 7 to 12. I just found those magical years with all my children have been that way. once they get into teenagers, it can be awkward, and getting out of teenager. My third son is 20 today. Getting out of being a teenager, that is a difficult time. Now, when I look to my older sons, who has now made me a grandfather, they have the maturity. They have made the maturity, and they see things differently than they probably did maybe 10 or 15 years ago. And they, I've had things said to me which shocked me, that, Dad, you got it right. You were right. It's a big thing for a son to say that to his father, but I'm grateful that he had the man in him to be able to say that. Or, I see your perspective. Maybe I don't agree with you, but you have my respect, and we will just disagree. That's fine. I think that's all we would want as parents. I want children to be thinking and to challenge me on things. And if I see their point of view, my attitudes and opinions will change. I'm a very flexible guy, as I know you know.
Good morning, Craig.
I think we want people not to be sheep. We want people to question. And I think today, more than at any time, we need to question. I was raised and went through college like you did to question everything. I think we were a questioning generation. Today, I'm not sure our children are questioning things. They're going along with what their teachers and professors are telling them. And I'm not sure that that's the way that our education of our children and our upbringing of our children should go. But that's my opinion.
And we talked about that, being indoctrinated. We are so
Yes.
influenced by so many people out there that really, if we're not careful of guarding our minds, or if we get into our heads too much, it's like I said the other day, if we get in our heads, we're dead. We have to find ways to filter out most of the negativity, because we're bringing it into our homes, and our children feel this. I mean, so how do we step up as leaders to teach them to love, to care for others, to serve those? And the best way to do it, I believe, is to lead by example.
And to
Absolutely.
have open dialogue and conversation, Barbie. It's hard on us as parents, and it's also hard on our children today more than ever. Because when we were growing up, what influences do we have on our lives? We had our parents, we had our teachers, and then there was a little bit on TV. Today, there's this thing that we're looking into that has far more far-reaching influence on those little minds than we do, the TV, the professors, or anybody. And unfortunately, there's a lot of crap out there, as you well know. And so trying to, if you like, counteract those negativities, guarding their minds, it's a tough call.
Yeah.
And I don't have all the answers. I think your point is correct, though, that if you can lead and demonstrate that, even though information's coming in, how to process that is our responsibility. To teach them how to process.
And to add to that, we are pros when it comes to the relationships. We've had our share of relationships, we've had our highs and lows, and how do we filter out all the disturbances that try to infiltrate into our personal relationships that eventually will destroy it if you're not careful? Right. I think that, your residence, your home is a sanctuary, and you need to treat it like one. And set limitations as to your viewership, your associations, because something that is so precious as a relationship, it's imperative that you guard it. Even from some friends, our best friends, they may be thinking, I want to spend more time with my buddy, and I'm gonna just try to dissuade him from wanting to be with his own personal family, and then problems arise, as we know.
Right.
And so I think we focus a lot on that on our books, that we've taken our time, not being paid for it. You know, we've done this during COVID, and you're going to be launching your book on February 18th, which I'm excited. But yeah, we have so many distractions that really play a significant role in what we don't realize at that given moment, the impact that's going to have the rest of our lives, emotionally, spiritually, with our children. And we really have to guard that. So the best way I have found, going back to reciprocity, is serve others, be open-minded, no matter how small of a gesture, a kind gesture that you can do. Take the time today. I challenge each and every one here who's watching this. Take the time to reach out to them. May it be a spouse, your child, a colleague, an employee, you know, your neighbor. If you're able to just even communicate with them, let them know that, hey, you're there if you need anything, if you need a cup of sugar, as they used to say back in the day.
Right.
And that's just not obsolete. Now they don't even talk. They just like, they're in
No, they don't.
enclosed in their own little home, and you're lucky if you're able to say hi or put a smile as you're taking off for your day. But something
Let
to
me
think
ask.
about.
I was going to ask you. Let me ask you a question. Do you, when you see your neighbors out, do you walk across and engage them? I do. It's so funny how many people kind of run the other way because they don't want to engage anymore. I mean, I'm used to, when I first came to North America, it was really alarming to me because back in England, you talk to everybody. You talk to the guy in the street. Here, they look at you like, what do you want? Are you going to put a gun on me or something? And it was like, I just found this so amusing, you know? I mean, come on. Be social, you know?
Yeah.
My father-in-law, he said, you're not proud. You'll talk to anybody. And I said, yeah, I actually like talking to the bus conductor or the janitor or the guy who's taking my trash or refuse away. They have a life too, and it's nice to know who they are. I always chat to my mailman. I'm probably breaking rules for the mailman, but I always ask him how he's doing, what sort of a days he had. Is it heavy right now? Because he knows me as somebody, and he tries to get my mail on time.
Just like
Even
you.
I know. I mean,
We're
it's
so
like, come
similar.
on.
And you know, they look at us, people sometimes look at us like, is there something wrong with her? Or what planet does she come in? I've been in a relationship where they say, what planet did you come from? You know,
Really?
because it's just so obsolete. It's just not the way of the world now. And it's so important that we do this with our children too. You know, we focus on this family, and I've had so many people come back to me and say, your child is so polite, you know, from saying the words instead of yeah, you know, just say yes, thank you.
Right.
Those are things that are so important that we mirror not only ourselves and our children, but we're able to show respect for others, and people love respect. They love to be acknowledged. So, and with
Right.
speaking of which, I'm wrapping this up, we have 9 birthdays today. So
Whoa.
I'm super
I know you love that.
excited. Yes, I love my birthdays. And let me see here. I had it here.
Can I ask you to, can I ask a
What's
favor of
that? It
you?
all depends. What's that?
Well, there's a little guy, and he's not so little anymore,
Your
whose
20-year-old?
birthday is today, and he's 20. And his name is Jonathan Andrew Smart.
Jonathan.
And he's my third son, Jonathan Andrew, and he's 20 years old today. Happy birthday, Jonathan.
Jonathan, happy birthday, young man. You'll always be a young man to your dad.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, our dear friends. Happy birthday to you. We care about each and every one of our friends here, our families, but I want to make sure to mention also my dear friends here. And I have Angie Helms, whose birthday is today. Happy birthday. Oh, I should probably put one of these. Can you see them? It's my little antennas. We have Taraja Bafni, Betsy. We have Adrian, Joseph, happy birthday. We have Kevin Chatham, Elizabeth Ashmore, Tony Vincenti. We have Steve Jabon. We have Mr. Brian Collins, someone from my school, many years back in high school. It's so wonderful to be here alive today on our day 10, where we're trying to inspire and ignite the best in you so we can, in some way, touch your lives and ensure that you know that you're valued as an individual. And our main objective is not only to touch one another's lives, but also touch others who surround us. And with that said, I hope that everyone here who is tuned in has a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous Monday. I know it's the beginning of a week, but I am certainly grateful for you, Mr. Nigel, for being such a great co-host here. I appreciate your insight and the genuineness that you bring to the fold. I think you are a wonderful individual that has so much to offer, and I can't wait to see your book out and have it see how it impacts others. I truly can't wait. So you guys have to tune in. He launches on February 18th. And give us the title of your book again.
It's Bouncing Back from Divorce, a strategy for, with purpose and vitality. A strategy for
bouncing back from divorce. Is like, and it's tough.
Yeah.
You know, we both are in groups where we see a lot of the heartache that many families go through, and we've made this our mission to ensure that we can serve and empower those who may need a little nudge, a little encouragement, a little love. So today I challenge everyone here to go out and do something special for whomever. Just smile at them, talk to them, just spend a minute just asking them how their day is. And that extension that you have shared with them will be reciprocated, I guarantee you. Everyone out there, have a beautiful, beautiful day. Sending all my love and hugs to everyone. Happy birthday. Bye, Mr. Nigel. We'll catch you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao. Bye.